So the nursery will not be open until they're done. Then the nursery workers will head that way. So anyway, just going to tell you. All right, everybody, good to see everyone tonight. Praise the Lord for a good day so far. Praise the Lord for that. All right, let's all go to the book and we continue to sing our good Christmas songs. Amen. So let's all stand as we sing one of our favorite ones, Silent Night, Holy Night. 431, the Soul Story book. Silent Night, 431.
Silent night,
about it. Amen. We're going to bow our head and say thank you, Lord. Yes, Lord. Amen. All right. Brother Blake, lead us to the Lord.
Lord, thank you so much for all your blessings. Thank you, Lord, for coming down and dying for my sins, taking my place, Lord. I thank you for this place, Lord. It's a special place, Lord. Yes. I thank you for all the people that are here. We pray that you please help us to listen to what you want us to hear. And Lord, please encourage our hearts. And I pray that we would lay aside all those things that are setting us now, Lord, and help us to focus on you and help us to remember that you're what it's all about. It's all about us. In Jesus' name, amen.
424. 424, oh come, all ye Amen. Good to see everybody in church tonight. Y'all glad you're saved? Say amen. Hallelujah. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Amen. Apparently, everybody didn't get the ugly sweater memo, so thank the Lord. The altar and Daniel is about all we can handle. Amen. And so anyway, I just had to poke at it a little bit, but it is good to be back in church tonight. Amen. Let's see, Brother BJ, and I don't know who else. They went preached to jail today. Had 2 saved. Lord, that makes 20 in the last 3 weeks that have been saved in our jail. Amen. I'm glad you're still in the saving business. Praise the Lord. Amen. Brother David, did you get my sheet? Okay. There is a sign-up sheet and a clipboard right here on the Lord's Supper table. Next Sunday night, we will have our watch night service instead of Monday night.
We'll have our watch night service. What we do every year, we let all our preacher boys or men preach. Let me re-emphasize, preacher boys or preacher men. And we got enough women that think they can preach. They do not sign up. Amen. You ain't gonna say the preaching boy. Oh, anyway, I'm just joking with them, but seriously, I want you to go ahead. If you want to preach next Sunday night, you say, how much time do we have? Depends on how many signs up. So I'm trying to get a little head start and find out who I will preach next Sunday night, okay? We will start at regular time, and we'll probably take a break somewhere in the middle. And I'm not worried if we go to midnight. It doesn't make no difference. I just want everybody who's preached to get to preach. Amen. So make sure you sign up. Amen. Hey, and by the way, if you're called to God to preach, go to sign up. Amen. You'll take every opportunity you get. Amen. Somebody said, how do you learn how to pray? Well, you pray. How do you learn how to preach? Well, you preach. That ain't something that can be taught. Amen. So anyway, you go sign up. Don't forget about that. All right. Let's have our ushers, Brother David, you be come. And then after we take up our offering, we'll have our AHG girls come. I'm excited about what they've got for us tonight. Amen. And I'm sure am pleased with the work these ladies are doing with these girls. Amen. It's time some ladies started teaching our girls how to treat girls and ladies. Amen. Praise the Lord. We'll go to the Lord in prayer. Let's bow our heads. And listen, as we pray tonight, it's on my heart today. Why don't we pray for those who can't be with their families this year? Our shut-ins, those 20 men that got saved in jail. We got folks in the nursing home. Miss Ferguson, Brother Jack's wife, and there's others. Let's pray for these folks, man. It can't be where they really love to be. I guarantee you all 20 of them guys got saved in that jail. They'd give anything if they could go be with their family. Yeah. I know Michelle's husband would love to be with them. Amen. So let's just pray, Lord, bless them. Amen. All right, let's pray. Brother Dylan, you ask the Lord to bless the altar and do that prayer.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come before you again. We're so thankful, God, to be in the house of the Lord, and Lord, to be able to hear your word preached to us again. And Lord, we thank you so much for your mercy and grace in our lives. Lord, thank you for your Holy Spirit and how he guides us in our day-to-day life. Thank you for that. And Lord, we're so privileged to be able to freely come together to worship you. Lord, we pray that you let us do it with gladness tonight, and help us, Lord, all in one mindset, in one accord, to get together and, Lord, just give you the glory due to your name. Lord, we do pray for those that can't be with their families, God, and we pray for family members that choose to have aught with each other or any of that nonsense. Lord, let us all just get together if at all possible. And Lord, just be together in love, Lord, and in unity. And Lord, I do pray for those that aren't able to be together. And Lord, just bless them and meet with their heart, Lord. And God, tonight, just meet with us. Touch Brother Eddie as he stands to preach and fill him with your spirit and your power. And Lord, just let us all have ears to hear this evening, Lord. Bless the service and bless the offering. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
one of our ladies has lost, these look like scripture glasses looking through them, so if you're missing some glasses, they're up here, okay? Now, Miss Dawn, you ladies, come on, girl.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
We hope y'all enjoyed this tonight. This is a program that our troop got to go and sing at Tanner and Carrollton at the Harmony Reunion. And they did an excellent job, and we just thought we would share it with y'all as well, and hopefully just kind of get you in the Christmas spirit a little bit more than we already are. Thanks so much for being here.
Deck the halls.
AHG oath.
As an American Heritage girl, I promise to love God, cherish my family, honor my country, and serve in my community.
They asked my permission to sing this song. And as soon as Miss Dawn told me about it, something rang in my head, Brother Charles. For years and years, Brother J. Young Brooks was the pastor of the Happy Valley Baptist Church. And Sister Janice's father, my wife's uncle. Every year, the church was small, and for the Christmas of every year, they exchanged gifts in the service, the whole 9 yards. But to end the service every year, Brother J. Young himself would sing and lead this song with the children. Brother Charles, this is in remembrance for the J. Young.
Jingle bells.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Hop, 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 bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in
AHG Creed.
As an American heritage girl, I promise to be compassionate,
understanding others in fellowship, empathy, and kindness and care, respecting others' emotions and opinions and
helpful,
willingly serve others,
Amen.
honest,
always tell the truth and keep my promise,
loyal,
true to God, friends, true to God, family, friends, community, and country.
perseverance,
Continuing to strive toward a goal despite obstacles.
pure,
Keep my mind and body pure.
resourceful,
Wisely use my time, materials, and talents.
respectful,
Honor my country, be obedient to others, and authority and courtesy to all.
responsible,
Accountable for my own actions, reliable in all situations.
reverent,
Faithful and honoring to God, respectful to others.
I have Luke verse 2, 1 through 7. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Away in a manger.
Luke 2, verse 8 through 14. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe, wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
Silent night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child.
Hark the herald angels sing.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With the telling post proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the newborn Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all He brings, risen with healing in His wings. Mildly placed His glorified, born that men no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Luke 2:15-20. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at these things, which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things, and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherd returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, and it was told unto them. Oh, come, all you faithful.
Our last song is Joy to the World, and we will be singing the first and last verses, so you can feel free to join us if you would like. Joy to the World.
Good job, ladies. Y'all did a great job with this crew. Let's stand our feet all over the house. While the girls come down, turn around and shake somebody's hand. Tell them it's good to see them in church tonight. Let's give the Lord a little time. Let's go back to that.
When there's more bills at the end of the month than there is paychecks.
no idea that it's going to sing that. You said, that ain't much of a Christmas song. That might be more than you think it is. More suicides and more depression this time of year than there is any other month of the year, the month of December. People get depressed at Christmas time. Probably because they don't know Him. You go to Matthew chapter number 2. Simple little thought. I kind of hit on it this morning. And wasn't going to preach it. And probably not really going to preach tonight. Just going to give you a thought. But I just can't get away from it. Matthew chapter number 2. Say amen when you get there. Matthew chapter number 2. I'm going to begin reading in verse number 1. Matthew chapter number 2. Y'all hear me okay back there, Brother David? My ears are stopped up. I can't hear myself. The Bible said, now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and we are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled. I reckon so. And all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes and the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they say unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea. He's getting them scribes together because they have scribed the Old Testament. And they can tell him what the prophecy said about where the Messiah would be born. And they said unto him in Bethlehem, in verse 5 of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. Liar. Yeah. When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. Amen. Have you ever noticed how life doesn't always turn out the way you planned? Let me say that again. When we're young, we've got all kind of hopes and dreams. And we make predictions of where I'll be when I'm 20, where I'll be when I'm 25 and 30. Yeah. But then life comes along and throws you some curveballs, and you don't wind up, Brother Blake, right where you thought you would be. Can I get a witness right there? How many of you men are right now what you thought you would be when you were 12? That's what I thought. Sometimes life just doesn't work out like we think it does. Oftentimes life seems like it's nothing more than a series of shattered dreams. That'd be a fair assumption, wouldn't it? I thought about these wise men. They spent somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 years following a star. They've left their homes, Brother Blake. They've left their families. They've left everything behind in search of this newborn king. I would imagine that they would have expected to find him in a house of royalty. That'd be a fair assumption? Yes. Or at least a place of luxury. Wouldn't you think? Maybe this is why they went to see Herod first. You're going to look for
for a king, go ask the king. Makes sense to me. So they go to Herod. Bad decision, but they went to Herod first. And then they departed and kept following that star. Now, if your children saw the little movie, the little Christmas movie, I just saw it this weekend, and it was very good. The Star. How many of y'all seen that? Now, man, that's some pretty good stuff. The animals tell the Christmas story, and a little donkey, his name's Boaz, and a little lamb, her name is Ruth, and there's a little dove that flies around with them, and his name's Dave, or David. So I thought about somebody had some wisdom to put all that together. But it has the shepherds coming to the stable and worshiping the Lord, but then it also has the wise men come to the stable. Don't think they showed up at the stable. The Bible said they came to the house where the young child was. He's no longer a baby laid in a manger, but he's in a house of some sort. And I imagine when they pull up on their camels and they're unloading their treasures of gold and frankincense and myrrh, maybe they look at the place and think, man, it's not quite what we expected. It seems like somehow our star has led us to a shack. Somehow our hopes and our dreams have brought us to this. Amen. Sound kind of familiar? Yes, sir. Sometimes our hopes and dreams doesn't turn out exactly the way we think they should have, or the way we hope they would. Sometimes our star might lead us to a lowly or a humble place. But tonight I want to talk to you just for a second about what wise men do when their star leads them to a shack. What wise men do, and you see why they were called wise men. They were called wise men because they were wise. Yeah. What wise men, unwise men, when their life doesn't turn out the way they planned, they give up on it. Yeah. They give up on the dream, Brother Charles. They give up on their hope, and they give up on their plan, and they have the attitude, and I've watched it over and over, year after year, in 25 years of ministry, when people's plans don't work out, they just quit. They just stop right there and they throw up their hands and they say, what's the use? This didn't work out the way I thought it would. How many of you did it work out for you the way you thought it would the first time you ever tried to ride a bicycle without training with it? Didn't work out very well for me either. But that didn't mean I didn't get back on it and try it again. I just kept pedaling until I got it right. Matter of fact, I kept on like a ride a wheel and jumped some ramps and jumped my bicycle out of the loft of the barn. Yeah, it had square tires after that, but flat on one side anyway. What I'm trying to say is if we got a little bit of wisdom about us, when our stars lead us to a shack, or when our dreams lead us to disappointment, we don't quit. If we've got any wisdom about us, we just keep trudging on. I'm going to show you tonight just for a minute, and I will preach maybe 15 minutes if you'll listen. Wise men recognize God in the shacks of life. Wise men recognize God in the shacks of life. No, he was not in a palace, Brother Jesse. He was not laying in a bassinet or a baby bed of gold and all that kind of stuff. Hey, they came to a lowly place. They came to a humble place, a poor person's house, if you will. And they came to worship Him. And you know what they did? They worshiped Him. Regardless of where they found Him, that's where the star led them. So that's where they looked for Him. What I'm trying to say to you tonight, when your star leads you to a shack, you better look for God. And when your life leads you to disappointment, instead of looking to Dr. Phil and Oprah Winfrey and all that crap, hey, you ought to look up toward heaven. Somebody said you can look within and get disgusted. You can look around and get discouraged. But friend, if you'll look up, you'll get delivered. Life ain't always flat. There's some guys on the television who actually preach. If you send them your money, you won't have any more trouble. Well, first of all, you'll be broke. Sow a seed. Talk about writing me some letters. Get them guys to sow a seed. Our ladies on needs a vein. Reckon they'd sow a seed right there? Yeah, I didn't even get off on that. But anyway, they make all these promises. Mother boy, if you'll trust God, you'll love God, you'll never have any more trouble. I forget who it was telling me, it might have been my mother. We were in Gatlinburg the last couple of days, and she said some lady that she worked with, they had ridden together to lunch or something like that, and they pulled back, and she went to one of them World Changers churches, you know, that pie in the sky and prosperity stuff, and they pulled up in the parking lot back at the hospital, and there was a little beat-up, ratty car sitting there. Was that you who told me that?
Yes, sir.
And the lady looked at my mother, she said, well, I can tell you right now, whoever drives that car is not a Christian. My mama said, how in the world do you know that's not a Christian? She said, because God won't have His people driving the trash like that. How many of you know that's a lie? She said, if they really love God, they'd be driving something luxurious. Friend, that just ain't true. Christ Himself didn't have a place to lay His head. Get Him the witness right there. Life does not always lead to a lap of luxury. The Lord said, in this life ye shall have tribulation. When your hopes and dreams don't wind up where they, hey, when your honeymoon is over in your marriage. And ladies, you realize at night his feet stink. And men, you realize in the morning her breath stinks. And she don't always look like she used to when you picked her up at the door for a day. And he doesn't open the car door for you anymore. So all you can do to get in before he takes off. Everything doesn't work out in your fairy tale world. And you face the reality of life. Here's what I'm trying to say. You better seek God while He may be found. Them wise men could have pulled up to that place and said, hey, this can't be right. Let's just load our gifts up, get back on our camels, and go down the road. But you know what they did? They trusted what they had been following for 2 years of their life. Can you imagine during that time what all they went through? Man, they'd come a long way. They had come a long way. Now, if I went that far and went through that much effort to find the King, and it wound up into just a little humble shack, I might have been a little disappointed. Boy, don't you know they're glad they went in. I imagine, Brother Freddie, as soon as they saw him, the looks of the outside of that building went away. As soon as they laid eyes on him, there was something about him that said, this is him, that's the Lord, hallelujah. I'm trying to say, when life don't lead you where you thought it would, look for Jesus. Sister Janice used to sing a song that said, standing somewhere in the shadow, you'll find it. What was that when Vivish sang about the roads? In the darkest valley, you'll find the roads, or something like that. I'm trying to remember how it went. Man, where we find Jesus is not way oftentimes up on the mountain. Sometimes where we find the Lord is at the lowest place of our lives. Amen. Amen. Sometimes where we find Jesus is where you at least expect to find the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I said, when your star leads you to a shack, wise men seek God. They seek God. They came to worship Him, and worship Him they did. Yes, sir. Amen. Wise men, when their star leads to a shack, Brother Charles, they not only seek God, but wise men, when they come to the shacks of life, they still give gifts. They still give gifts. By the way, when your star leads to a shack, when your life leads to disappointment, God's got you there for a reason. Amen. It may be correction, it may be instruction, it may be perfection, it may even be protection. Amen. God knows what He's doing. Amen. He knows the end from the beginning, and He sees everything in between. Amen. But when wise men, when their star leads to a shack, they not only seek God, but wise men render gifts in the shacks of life. Context of our story, I already said it. I keep getting ahead of myself. It'd have been easy for these guys to have turned around and packed up all they had and went home. After all, it was blank. Last place you'd expect to find the king. But you know what they did? I imagine they thought to themselves, you know, we've come this far. We brought this stuff this far. Let's go on in. Yes, bro. Let's go on in. Yeah, but it's just a shack. It's a project. This government housing. Yeah. They probably eating government cheese. We ain't going in there. Come on, guys, let's just go in. They went in that little lowly place. Brought some of the finest gifts they had. And they went ahead and laid them at the feet of that child. Yes. Gold, frankincense, myrrh. Sometimes when our life doesn't turn out the way we thought it would, we just quit giving. I ain't talking about money. I ain't talking about money. I don't think God thinks about your money as much as you do. That's right. I mean, He paves the streets with gold. Churches brag about how much money they got in the fund. You think He's impressed with that? I'd hate to know the Lord come back with sitting on $1 million. Amen. Amen. My financial secretary sitting right back there. She'll tell you right quick, Brother Eddie, don't mind spending it one bit. We had a meeting last Sunday night with the Victory Valley Rescue Ranch, and Brother Jason talking about the ladies needing a van. I looked at Stacy and Stacy went, So I'm praying. Amen. Amen. Then they get them low spots in their life. They just gave in. Man, life throws you a curveball. You know what you ought to do? You ought to just keep giving to Jesus. Amen. Keep giving your time. Amen. Don't quit coming to church because things are bad. Let me say that again. Don't quit coming to church because things are bad. Because you hit a bump in the road. Because life got disappointing. Don't quit coming to church because you got knocked down. Don't quit handing out tracts. Don't quit telling people about Jesus. Don't quit singing about Him. Don't quit bragging about Him. Man, you just keep giving. What the Bible said, the Lord loveth the cheerful giver. We ought to be happy we still got breath in our body. We still got strength to get up and come to the house of God. Amen. Thank God I'm coming here and give Him some praise. Amen. You know what these guys did? They come in, these wise men. I mean, these were highfalutin guys. Amen. They come in and bow before this child. Yeah. Yes, sir. Amen, bro. Come to worship. They come and praise Him. Wasn't everything they expected it to be, but the baby was. The boy was. He was exactly what they had been looking for. And you know what? Even when the situations ain't what we thought they would be, He still is. He's still Jesus no matter what. He's still Jesus even if my lights ain't on. He's still Jesus if they repossess the car. He's still Jesus if I get a bad report from the doctor. But God Almighty, somebody ought to shout to that. He's still God. Not the circumstance. I'm just going to keep a giving. Keep giving. You know what? You can't outgive. Amen. You go ahead and throw your money in there too. Amen. You can't outgive God. Amen. Right. Amen. My wife and I talked about it years ago. My wife started tithing before I did. She put a $20 bill in the plate and I'd have a heart attack. She said, honey, but that's our tithe. That tells you how much we made back in. I learned that truth and we made up our mind. We'd start doing that before we'd done anything else. Amen, brother. We'd give God His first. Yes, sir. Y'all all right? We'd give God His first. You know, something turned around in our lives when we decided that way. I'm telling you, something turned around. We didn't struggle near as bad as we used to. I don't know how all that works out. I just first. Ain't nobody in this room ever loved deer hunting as much as I used to. I ain't as crazy about it as I used to be. But I used to love deer hunting. I mean, brother, I eat, breathe, sleep, I deer hunt. Man, I live for deer season. When deer season was over, I was planning for next year. I had a motto: if it's brown, it's down. If we got any PETA people in here, I'm sorry. PETA, people eating tasty animals. But I remember one Sunday morning sitting in a deer stand. Let me say that again. This is after I got saved. One Sunday morning sitting in a deer stand.
Preach, brother.
I ain't getting enough help right there. I'm preaching now. I'm sitting in a deer stand, the wind kicked up. I'm in a pine tree about that big around, about 30 foot off the ground. And that tree's going. And I'm sprinting back and forth. And I started praying, oh God, if you'll let me get out of this tree without falling, I'll never hunt again when I'm supposed to be serving you.
Amen. That's right. Amen. Big time.
Craziest thing happened. The wind quit blowing. And I sat there a minute and the Lord said, what did you say? I'm coming down.
Yes, sir. Amen.
I made up my mind. It wasn't just my money he was getting first. This is my time he was getting first. Amen. I'm going to give him my talents. I'm going to give him my time. Amen. Just keep giving gifts. You said, the preacher, I'm going through it. Hey, brother, that's when we ought to buckle down and stick it out the hardest.
Man, preacher.
Okay. Wise men, when their star leads them to a shack, they just keep looking for God.
Amen.
You know what you'll find if you'll look for him? You'll find him. If you'll look for him in your situation, he's there. You think God's forgotten me, God's turned his back on me. No, maybe it's the other way around. Well, lastly, not least, wise men not only seek God or recognize God in the shacks of life, but wise men render gifts in the shacks of life. And lastly, wise men receive grace in the shacks of life. They not only render or recognize who God is and render gifts, but they receive grace. Thank God for His grace. How many of you would be honest and say, I realize more about His grace in the low places of life than I did the high places of life? I learned more about the grace of God in the valley than I ever learned up on the mountaintop. It's when I'm at my lowest and ready to give in, ready to throw in the towel and ready to quit, that I realize how sweet and how wonderful the grace of God is. And in low places, that's where we find grace. And when you're on top of the mountain and you're shouting hallelujah, you ain't in much need for grace, are you? Not as much as you think you are. These wise men, while they were there, they experienced grace on two levels. First, they experienced saving grace. Hallelujah for that. First, they experienced saving grace. The Lord showed up. Not so much as in the baby, but in the spirit. Thank God when the Lord shows up. Amen. While they were there, they experienced not only the saving grace, but they experienced sustaining grace. Thank God for sustaining grace.
Yes, sir.
You say, what's that? That's that grace that keeps you. That's that grace that keeps you going. Amen? Well, you say, what do you mean they received grace? Let's look back at our story. Verse number 12. The Bible said they was warned of God in dreams. That's that saving grace. Don't go back to hell.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't go back to hell.
I'm glad when he came my way and said, whatever you do, don't go back to the world.
Amen.
Ain't nobody in this room been saved any length of time. Ain't ever been tempted to quit and go back.
Amen.
Amen. We get saved in grace more than just that salvation. We get saved in grace in all places of life.
Amen, Lord.
I'm talking about when you're done.
Yes, thank God.
That's it. I ain't going back. That's it. I quit. I've even told the Lord, I'm done with this thing.
Amen.
Thank God for that sweet, small, still voice.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Brother Charles that says, hey, don't look good right now.
Right. That's
Don't go back.
Amen.
I know your memory ain't all it ought to be, but don't go back. Thank God for that saving.
Amen, brother.
The Bible said that they was warned of God in a dream that they should not return to error. They departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph, saying, arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And not only gave him saving grace, but he gave him sustaining grace. I believe them old boys got back home safely. If it took them 2 years to find that star, I reckon how far that was. Reckon how many people heard about that baby, heard about that boy.
Amen.
Because they stuck it out and didn't quit when the star made the shot.
That's right.
When I was growing up, they used to call it chasing your dream. I preached a message one time on dream a dream. Young men ought to have dreams. I'm not saying don't dream. Dream big. Nothing wrong with that. Dream big. Set some goals in your life.
Amen.
But don't quit when you don't hit it.
Amen. Amen.
Trying to remember this little saying. Brother Cloud, y'all come to the end if you would. You would ask them to sing your invitation. I can't remember how it went, so I'm going to go with it. Something about I'd rather shoot the stars and get something. Nothing wrong with having a dream. We're living in a world that tells our kids you can be anything you want to do.
Yeah, preach, brother. Come on, man.
I wish it were, but it's not true.
Amen.
Ain't no in this room ever going to be able to dunk from the preach our life. They ain't a Michael Jordan in the house. You saw how many you know? I've watched you play. Probably not a boy in this room. Probably not, I don't know. Could be a major league or professional football player, basketball player. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what you can do. Come on. You be what God wants.
Amen. Yes, Lord. Amen.
God wants you to be a ball player. Give Him glory. God wants you to preach the gospel.
Amen.
God wants you to be a missionary. You do that. Amen. Don't be afraid. But when your dream doesn't seem to line up with what God's dreams are, don't quit. Yes. When you start, leads to the shed. Let's stand our feet. Hope you got something out of it. God lead with your heart. It's not what we done. Say, boy, I'm going through it. Look for Him. Preachers, we're struggling. Keep giving. Preacher, it's not easy right now. Keep looking for that grace. He promised it. needs a push. Hope you got some help out there. Listen, I told you during fellowship that I had a sign-up sheet for next Sunday night, our watch night service. I got 10 guys signed up so far. We got a whole lot more preachers in the room. You said, well, I ain't done it in a long time. Well, it's a good time to get started back. Well, I ain't everything all together. We'll get right on Sunday night. Is it okay to say that? Well, I'm afraid what people think. Wonder what they're thinking now. Amen. I've been preaching 25 years, man. I still got people thinking I don't deserve to be up here. I'm number one. Thanks. Amen. Sign up. Sign up. And don't think you're too good to preach 10 minutes. You might know, I told my preacher boys in class, you better learn to preach 10 minutes. Somebody might invite you to come preach on their radio broadcast. And you're going to preach to nobody. And you'll be seeing a man through a glass who's paying no attention, and you're looking at a clock. When that thing gets 15 minutes, you keep preaching all you want. Ain't a soul hurt you, man. They'll cut you off. Amen. So, don't worry about the 10-minute thing. Man, some of the best messages I've heard was on these Sunday night, watch night services. They were 10-minute messages. Hey, some of them messages or some of them thoughts from these boys I took and built sermons out of and preached around the country. Hey, people look at me weird. They say, man, where'd you come up with that? Got it from a 10-year-old boy. Hey, you'd be surprised where you'll find another. Amen. Amen. Their little minds work a little bit different than ours does. Amen. We got full of cobwebs, you know what I'm saying? They got a fresh set of eyes. So, anyway, put this back in my case. Is your name on there? You can't preach in that suit, but you can preach. Amen. By the way, if you sign up, have your jacket and tie. Amen. You're going to preach, wear the uniform. Amen. Is that okay to say? Hallelujah. Amen. All right. Man, it's been good today. I've enjoyed this so good.
Brother, I ain't testified in a long time.
I'll go ahead.
I want to say I love the Lord. I was saved in 1992. It was on a Wednesday.
Amen.
That was a long time ago. And, this morning I got with God, and my favorite storyline for that story was the prodigal son. He was tired of eating what the pigs are eating.
Amen.
I'm returning to my father. Now, I have a great earthly godly father.
Yes, you do.
But I have a great heavenly father.
Amen.
That has never given up on me. And I love my brother. He's a great brother.
Sure.
And I love my family. But, he's looked for me.
Yeah.
I've walked away from him because of Paul. Y'all just pray for me.
Amen.
And not just talking, but walking.
Amen. I can do all things through Christ. Stay with him, brother. Stay with us. Stay with us. Let's stay you. Amen. And God's good. God's good. And I hope y'all have the best Christmas you've ever had in your life. And I don't mean that you get a whole bunch of stuff. Man, you just get a realness of who he is. Amen. Love you guys. Shake somebody's hand and see yourself dismissed. We will be here Wednesday night, by the way. So, see you then.